what you are going through might be one of the toughest things that somebody could go through. Hey guys, I'm Sarah.
I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Kristen.
This is Kristen. She has her own YouTube channel. We just filmed a video with her and now we have the honor to have her in one of ours.
Go check out her channel and subscribe to her because she's definitely going to be in more of our videos in the future.
We are talking about dealing with bad roommates in college.
We're going to be spilling the tea, so to speak, on all of our bad roommate experiences.
And not only will we be spilling the tea, it's intended for you who is currently in the midst of a bad roommate situation. You need some peace, you need practical tips, practical advice, and some stories to make you feel like you are not alone.
And honestly, even if we tell stories and we laugh about it, it kind of might give you peace to see us laughing about it because you know, holy crap, like it gets to a point where it's actually better and I can talk about it and it doesn't hurt inside. So please subscribe to our channel and watch us all the way through if you're dealing with bad roommates because we're here to help you out.
Exactly.
We're going to be talking about 3 things relating to bad roommate experiences. The first is going to be our personal experiences with bad or less than ideal roommate scenarios. The second is going to be any positives, what we learned from that, because there's always an upside. And then the last one is going to be what we would tell you right now, our advice if you are dealing with bad roommates right now.
I should start because my story is different than both of your stories. I actually didn't have bad roommates. I kind of was a bad roommate.
Oh,
Neither was expected. Already spilled. My past roommates are going to be happy that I'm saying this.
Like I'm the bad roommate.
Such a cop-out.
Neither of them knew. Neither of them knew that's where I was going.
I was going to say I had a bad roommate and I bed with whatever.
Freshman year, got in, had a wonderful roommate, Whitney. Why I was a bad roommate is I just wasn't on par with organization at the time and with picking up after myself all the time. I was still in the vibes of like living at home, so like it's not a big deal that I'm leaving this out here because I'll get it later. Sophomore year, Sabrina was my roommate and I was a bad roommate in that instance because I still had those vibes of like leaving things out and just like I'll get it later, it's not a big deal and stuff. But also with Sabrina, we had some moments where her habits of passive aggressiveness would come out. So instead of being direct towards me and telling me what she wanted, it became the tension grew and stuff. And so my 2 little experiences was, one, me was not super respectful, didn't learn how to be a respectful human living with another one. The other one was I saw the damage that passiveness could have and the damage of lack of communication could have when you have a roommate in which you guys aren't the closest or you both don't have a habit formed between the both of you of communication.
My bad roommate experience
was really bad.
It was really bad. It was just like between transferring schools and transferring halfway through the year and studying abroad even, like I've had to deal with living with another person, and I just would like to say that your roommate is a very different relationship that you've probably never experienced like in high school, like if you didn't live with someone in your room. And so there are definitely things that you learn in the relationship of a roommate. And one other thing that I definitely learned is you don't have to be like best friends with your roommate, you just have to be a good roommate. It's just a plus if you become best friends. When I transferred to the University of Florida, I took a random sublease, not knowing like who my roommates were gonna be. I just knew that the apartment was close to campus and there were 5 of us in the apartment, so 4 other girls, which is kind of a lot.
A lot of room for error.
Yeah. The people that I lived with were very like nice people. Like I didn't have issues with any kind of fighting or anything. We had very different lifestyles in that, let's just say, lots and lots of drugs were involved.
Illegal activities
that like
scary times for her.
Lifestyle.
Honestly, there was one time I really feared for my life. Like it was just not what you would think. Like when you think of bad roommate experiences, you just think of like, oh, my roommate's gonna be like kind of mean or not messy. Yeah.
You were in a Michael Bay movie, basically.
I was in a Michael Bay movie. Yeah, I like telling this now because that's a good way to put it. Lifestyle choices were very different. I would literally walk in to our apartment as like all this was going on, and I would have like my Christian like Young Life shirt on and be like, hi guys, like.
In the moment, was it hard though? Because it must be hard to feel like a stranger though in your own apartment.
Yes, I felt so much like a stranger in my own apartment that I didn't feel comfortable sitting in the living room or cooking. I really would just go right to my room. Part of the reason that happened was because it was halfway through the year and these girls had already kind of known each other, so that definitely didn't help the situation. But you're right, like to feel so like excluded from that, you do really feel like a stranger in your own place. Yeah, I really didn't feel comfortable, and so that was really hard for me to feel like I wasn't living in my own place.
I was a bad roommate too, but I'll briefly touch on that. I won't dive into it, but my freshman year, I was a bad roommate. I was very messy. My room was
She says very like it's past. No, I'm kidding.
No, guys, I had this little corner, because I was in a triple. I had this little corner of my room. I became a hoarder.
I saw it.
The whole corner, like you couldn't see the floor of where my room was. It was just boxes stacked up.
I'd be embarrassed to say.
Yeah, what?
Listen,
she's so confident.
One point in college, I did have a bad roommate experience. I still have respect for that person and love, but we had very different lifestyles. She liked to use the blender at 1 o'clock in the morning and talk on the phone.
As you do.
Very loudly. I did to my previous roommates, but I never used a blender. Mostly just my sleep was interrupted all the time, and I'm an early sleeper, so it was just traumatizing for me to not be able to sleep when I wanted to sleep because of noise. I'll share what I learned with it soon, but that was my bad roommate experience.
I believe everyone needs to learn this one. A lot of us, a lot of you, wait on the other person to step it up. I'll tell you what, I didn't do that. I didn't wait on my past roommates to step it up for them to communicate to me what was bothering me, or for them to communicate, what was bothering them about me. I took all the things that I've been taught in my life, direct communication, and how it's actually more loving to speak up than to passively sweep things under the rug. I would learn how to directly communicate my feelings, directly even say like, did it bother you that I did that? Because I could tell they just weren't gonna come out and say it. So I would open up the doors for communication, and it was hard and it was uncomfortable at times. And you're pushing past yourself, but I'll tell you, every single relationship in which there was tension, all of them are strong. All of my relationships are strong, and that's why my friendships stick around, because between us, we learn how to really talk, really be honest. Nothing's tucked under the rug that'll bite you in the butt later.
Real talk.
Real talk.
Buy our merch.
It's a life skill, and honestly very Christian-like, to learn how to get along with people that are very different from you, and to love on people that are very different from you and are not easy to get along with. As much as that experience at the time was a little bit traumatic, right now I look on it and I just think, wow, like I really learned how to still be kind and get along with people who I never thought I would be, because it's so easy to be nice and kind to people who are nice and kind back to you, who are similar to you, share the same beliefs and worldview as you and lifestyle choices. But it's a whole other thing and a whole other skill, and it's very mature of you to be able to get along with people that aren't easy to get along with. And that's definitely something that I have learned from that and have continued to expand upon in college.
Expand upon, yeah.
That's a really
journey.
good one.
It's a journey.
That's a really good one. That's very applicable to our world.
I feel like that was
right
like a mom tip, like you'd call your mom and your mom would be like, it's a life skill to get along with people.
Oh yeah. And as I learned how to speak up for myself hardcore, because some people are easy when you communicate, they listen and they respond well, but some people are difficult, and when you communicate with them, they don't respect you, or they
take it the wrong way. They start getting defensive.
Yeah, that didn't happen in my experience. My experience was more so that I wasn't being heard. I would ask for something and I didn't receive it. I would ask for something and I would have to ask again. And it was hard for me to even speak up in the first place. So to keep speaking up and to keep saying, I don't want you doing that, please don't do that, it was, it made me very tough, and it made me not be afraid to communicate, because I got so much exposure communicating. And it also taught me how to communicate directly and not in a rude way, just very upfront and honest. So good communication skills.
And I'm sure it taught you what you deserve, because it's like, wait a second, no human being deserves that when I communicate my needs for you to just shut the door and not listen. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you deserve it. They can still be rude if they want to, but it's like, you now know this is not normal, that they don't like respect me, so I gotta speak up.
Exactly.
You know
it validated my feelings to be more confident in setting boundaries, for sure.
First of all, I want to say that what you are going through might be one of the toughest things that somebody could go through, because what we're talking about here is that where you lay your head at night, what you call home doesn't feel like home. And so as much as somebody can joke and laugh and talk about the positives, if this is your reality right now, this is not a fun reality, because this is your home. This is home away from home. You don't have mom and dad in the kitchen cooking. You don't have your mom there to talk to in person and the counter, you know. Your home feels so like cold, and so it's like this whole other side of the world is in here, like living this lifestyle that you're not familiar with. So first of all, I want to say, like, if you're feeling the uncomfort and the pain that comes with, this isn't going to be your season forever, but this is what it looks like right now. I just want to say, like, a lot of us have been through that as well, and I want to validate that you will get through it, but you also will have to just be strong in the moments that it's very tough. And was it advice that I was supposed to give? Okay.
Yeah, so you're on track.
Okay, so I'm on track. And so the best piece of advice, aside from all that wisdom I just spit out, is that start asking the Lord for friends or for somebody that you can retreat to. That was gonna be years. It's okay. It's a really good basic one. Is
that good?
And just make it something really casual to where you're not intruding their space. You're just chilling with them, or like escaping for a little bit, you know. And just make your life a little different this year. Just craft it a little bit differently than usual, and you will get through this.
You have a bad roommate right now, that should not dictate how your year is gonna go. Because a lot of people think that if my roommate is bad, my year is gonna be bad. And that's not true at all.
Especially freshmen.
Especially freshmen. Like, if you're not best friends with your roommate, that's okay. You will meet other people, so many other people, and you can't let that one bad experience ruin the rest of your year. And the second thing that I would say is actually something that my mom has said to me and did tell me before I went to college, and that is, in order to have a good roommate, you have to be a good roommate. And a lot of times that's kind of, you'd think like, yeah, okay, like that makes sense, but you know, you learn skills from being a roommate that you wouldn't necessarily have if you weren't a roommate. Things like compromising and sharing and understanding
and communicating.
You
gotta do it with your husband, boy, or wife one day.
Yeah, it's true. It's definitely, you're learning life skills getting a roommate. And so those are the two things that I would say. Basically, just kind of, you're learning from this, but don't let it dictate how your year is going.
A lot of the times in your moments of frustration with your roommate, you might feel a buildup of resentment, or maybe even of hate towards that roommate, or maybe even of just pure anger. And that feeling will only hold you back. That you need to do your best to still love that roommate, to understand that just because they are not perfect, their inconsiderateness and what they're doing wrong, you would want them to have grace on you as well if it was you. That's really hard, I know, when you're in a situation where it's like you don't understand like how horrible they are, and I get it. It's not that they're not in the wrong, but spending time building up anger and hate and resentment towards that roommate it's not gonna help you in the end. No, it's only gonna keep you chained to your bad roommate life. So communicate well, speak to them, and even when they're frustrating you, do your best to love them and forgive them, even when they don't technically deserve it. And that will start setting you free. I know it's not easy, but if you practice that, you will not be chained to your emotions and your anger all the time.
And one way to practice that is watch your mouth, because as girls, it's so easy to vent and talk about your bad roommate experience to 5 different friends. All it does is recreate the emotion over and over again. When I had to vent, I called one person. I had to train myself to be strong, because you want to like spit it out to everybody. One person. Or or mom and that person. But like,
Mom's
that's
exception.
it. Yes, that's it. Create a boundary. Do not recreate the drama again and again, and speak that reality over and over.
I think that was a great video for roommates. Hope this gives you some peace. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and Kristen's channel. It's in the bio.
We love you guys so much. You got this. Stay strong. See you in the next video.
Bye, guys.
Bye.